Alright everyone, RGB Shelby here, another video. Today we're going to show you how to install the Morimoto XBT Color Control. This is a 3-zone RGBW controller. Let me show you how it works. So in here, this was actually made for a customer, so we actually went ahead and marked it Halo for him, and then he'll have 2 extra channels. So what you're going to notice on these, you're going to have 4 wires coming out of the box. Power and ground. You will have, if you can see here, it says channel 1, 2, and 3. That'll coordinate with the app. Channel 1 will be RGBW. Channel 2 is a 4-pin RGB. And channel 3 is a 4-pin RGB as well. So if you want to run 3 sets of just regular RGB components, we do include a set of adapter harnesses here, so you can plug that in, and now you're back to RGB instead of RGBW. So those come with the controller inside the box. So now to connect power, there's different ways you can connect power. Sometimes people like to go to the battery, and that will let you turn it on and off with the app, and you don't have to have the vehicle on. You can also add a fuse to this and put it onto your fuse box so it can come on with the vehicle. Like I said, it's strictly up to you. Like I said, we always recommend professional installation, so you can talk to the installer and let them know what you prefer, and they'll set it up for you. So on this one here, we're just going to use a couple quick connects and connect this straight to power, simulating a regular battery power. All right, we've got our little test terminals on here. We're going to connect this to power and ground. As soon as you connect it to power and ground, you will notice the blue LED will come on. Now the blue LED will be always on with power. So now we have that. Let's set up the app. You're going to go into the app here. We are set up under the Morimoto Bluetooth. So now once you go there, you're going to go to the top, pair new, pair controller, continue, and simply hold it near the controller, and before you know it, you'll have a little screen that says party time. And once you have the party time screen, you're ready to go. Sometimes it takes a minute or so. There we go. Now we're connected, party time, and then that will take you onto your app screen. So before we do that, before we start messing with this, we have to connect something to it. So this one here, we have the profile RGB with switchback halos in the fog lights. So this setup is going to be the same setup as what you would do for halos inside the lights, not only just the fog lights. We actually mark it Halo, and as we showed you earlier, we marked this one as Halo. So you have a couple options depending on the amount of components you're going to run off of this. You could hook them up to the same channel. So for instance, here we have it connected to the second one, which is channel 3. Now, one thing you will notice, see how the rings don't actually have the right color to them. So if you look at the wires that we include in here, once we unwrap these, you'll see you have 2 wires, a black wire and a yellow wire. So the black wire will have a label on it that says required, and the yellow is for your turn signal. We'll show you how to hook that up. But you are required to connect this. It does require ground to function correctly. You can look at that, see how our halo went up in brightness. And let's hook up our second one here, and you'll notice the brightness come up on it as well. All right, so there we go. So now we have both on brightness. Make sure, it's one of the common issues we always run into is improper ground. So like I said, this is required. So if you ever have issues, this is the first place you should look, is check the ground. Sometimes if they're not secured properly, they might be loose, corrosion, several different things that can happen. Vibration could break the wire. So that's one of the first things you want to look at. So again, we had this on channel 3. So we're going to highlight channel 3 here. And now we can actually control our colors. And these will operate the same. Anything that's on channel 3 will operate the same. Once you have these on colors, you can actually turn the tone all the way up so that they're white. Turn the tone down, and then they'll go back to whatever color you picked. So here's another thing you can actually do. So here we have everything on channel 3. You can actually disconnect one and say you want to put it on channel 2. So you can actually run that other halo to channel 2. And you can see now they are operating independent. So then you can highlight channel 2 alone and make that one a different color. Or you can highlight both channels and then they'll both work the same. So like I said, since it has 3 channels, you can mix and match what you want. Some people actually put the driver's side headlight halo and the fog light halo on one, the passenger side headlight and fog light on one, and then they can actually make them do different patterns separately. That's completely up to you. Like I said, when you're installing these, whoever the installer is, they'll more than likely ask you, how you want to set this up, and then they'll do it properly for you. If not, we do have other videos on our YouTube channel that'll help you out with that as well. So here's the other thing we have to do now, is for the turn signal function. So for the turn signal function, it does come with a tap like this, as you can see. And so what you'll need, depending on, like I say, depending on how you want to connect this, some people, there's a lot of different ways to connect this. Most people just run this to the actual turn signal wire off the bulb. So, the headlight bulb going into the headlights, you're going to have your harness. You're just connected to the turn signal, and that just clamps onto the wire. And then you can plug this in. And once you plug that in. Now, one common issue we always get as well is when people are putting this together. See, that's the way it should go in. You shouldn't be able to see that blade. However, some people, because the blade's off a little bit, misaligned, when they put it in, you can see how that blade's not in, and that's going to give you a bad connection as well. So make sure that blade is centered. Pop that in right there. And then that'll go to your turn signal wire, and then you can use that turn signal function. Another thing you can do is if you don't want this connection here, you can also use this type. It's called a Scotch guard. Basically, you slide this onto the wire. You slide that onto your turn signal wire, clamp it, close it up, and then that's another way of getting the connection. We also have, these are new from Morimoto. These are more of a watertight type connector where you put the wire in on one side, open this side, and then that'll go clamped onto the wire here. So you can also use that. Like I said, there's a few different ways to connect it and a few different places to connect it. So we always leave that open to the installer and to the customer. That way you can get the setup that you really want for yourself. So like I said, this is really cool. You got your themes. Your themes will work all together. You can also vary the speed. And if you go back to your picker, so you can go back and just put it on white, tone it up. If you tone it all the way down, so most of the time in the middle. So say if you wanted that one off, you can just run one. So that's pretty cool as well. But once you go back to your themes, it will both work the way they're supposed to together. So like I say, this is one way to install it. This is the Morimoto XBT 3-channel controller. These are the profile prism RGB with turn fog lights that we built for a customer. If you have any questions, just reach out to us, Instagram RGB Shelby. You can email us, camerolights@gmail.net. Thank you.